So welcome, Dan and Maria and Dan.
Yeah, no, what a
Yeah,
weird subject to start with. Apologies.
No, do you know what? I love a good roll and fucking start. Do you know what? Because you're an alternative. This is the first time I've had an actual couple. I think it is. I know Julie J stuck her head in a few times, but didn't specifically sit in a duo podcast. This is fucking class. But I like
a podcast as well. To be fair,
yeah. But I feel there's much I could say to you that would throw you sideways because you're alt is the wrong word because you're not going around, licking wallpaper or anything like that. But what I'm saying is like you could turn up. Your photographs are some of the most joyous things, especially around Christmas time or around Halloween.
Oh yeah,
you go pun hard.
I actually invented Halloween. I'm the founder, and it was me. That is
Maria Ihasawan is our full title, and that was before I properly met Dan. And I knew we'll get back to the photographs in a minute because I want to ask you about some of your classist. Because we'll direct people to your Instagram and everything at the end. But we all technically worked together with Bingo Loco. That's where I met you. But I met Maria first. You were upstairs, stamping hands and stuff, and I just didn't know what to be fucking doing myself. Sure, I was like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't really have an actual talent or skill or whatever to be doing here, but it was puns immediately because
instantly
they had a habit of hiring they'd have dancers or whatever, but dancers and for an awful part of it wouldn't have an awful lot of crack in them. They would have maybe 3 conversations and I wouldn't have the toolbox to deal with any of them, if you know what I mean. I would be like, that and that and that. Oh, I'd say we should just walk away from each other here because we're of no benefit to each other. But at least when I met Maria, she started straight into the puns.
Oh, yeah. It's a disease. I exclusively think in puns.
The funny part about it is there is an actual disease. We say
no, there's not.
No, there is.
The German word Witzelsucht. It's a set of pure and rare neurological symptoms characterized by a tendency to make puns or tell inappropriate jokes or pointless stories on random occasions.
That's my personality.
Witzelsucht.
Well, I mean, everybody's supposed to have like a crutch nowadays, aren't they? I mean, could you get first onto a plane for having an awful dose of Witzelsucht? Sorry, excuse me. Do you have anybody with special requirements? Excuse me.
I can't help but make puns. I'm sorry.
She's the service dog now, and we're laughing
But even Denny's whole existence is based around a pun because obviously he's a sausage dog and he's Denny. Because obviously, and then even Quinn, we kind of happened upon Quinn. She was unplanned.
The accident.
Our friend's mother had to give her up. And
Christ, guys,
we love her, but we love her just the same. She came upon us, and they were like, "Oh, she's still young enough. Like you can give her a name if you want." Because she was originally Judy, and she's not
a Judy.
She was, and she's judgmental. But she's not a Judy. But she, because I was like, well, I can't give her an outright sausage pun name. Like, I can't call her chorizo because people will be like, okay, whatever. So we called her Quinn because she's super.
Quinn. Wow.
Super Quinn.
That is 2 steps away. And that is meta, and it's not only meta, it is nostalgia too. I mean, I tell you, if you could have gone deeper and called them Musgraves, because that group have owned both Super Value and Super Quinn, I would have. Oh my god!
Originally, we wanted one of the boys, and then we decided, you know what, we're not going to take any of the pups. One's enough. We'll leave it at that. And then she was the last one, and they needed a home for her, so they were like, "Look, will you take her?" So we took her or whatever. But the whole plan was we'd get a boy, and we'd call him Brennan, and they'd be the sausage sandwich.
Brennan's bread, because they do look like loaves of bread.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Wow.
But I thought Super Quinn is what we landed with, and that's the way we are now.
I think that's why Danny's so anxious. He knows his whole life is based around just being a punchline.
Yeah, well, in fairness, you're never going to eat him. I mean, we did have a lamb that was known as mint sauce.
See, that I find funny. She's horrified by that.
She fucking loves that. She loves the. You love the value in the content. Okay, the fact that that sheep got killed. Okay, and it tasted delicious. We all cried, honestly, for a good 3 seconds. But
Here's a joy.
it was a sad moment, and I mean by a moment, literally a moment. That was it. But I mean, the sheep, like we had pigs too, and they were called rasher and sausage because you know it's a means to an end. Isn't it?
I'll tell you a story. I grew up. I moved a lot as a kid, but where I lived Green Oak, just outside Ashburn, between
Right.
Ashburn and Swords is where we lived, and we lived near Jim Draper, the famous jockey, the horse trainer, and we had a load of land out the back garden, and he used to have his horses. Fun fact: Arkle was actually born in the field.
What?
Yeah, apparently.
By
So
Jesus.
my granddad's told me, but Arkle was apparently born in the stables behind the house. But my uncle, he was a bit of a fucking Jack the Lad when he was kind of my age and when he was living in the house or whatever. And he just decided there was all the land out the back of the house. You know what? I'm buying 2 cows. So he bought 2 cows, and we called them Tia and Tamara because I used to love sisters when I was a kid. So we had Tia and Tamara in the house.
Dan, what color were the cows? Come on now.
They were brown. They were brown cows.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But that's shocking. Nothing to do with that. It was only 6 or 7 at that stage.
Exactly.
But Tia and Tamara, and I'll never ever, as long as I live, forget the day where they went to the slaughter. The family didn't try and sugarcoat it at all. They just told me exactly where they were going. And I, as a kid, loved fucking steak. I loved a steak. I still do to this day. I love a steak. And I was just beside myself. Like, I couldn't get over the fact that poor Tia and Tamara were going off to be murdered. And I think it was the next day at dinner, we were having a steak, and my uncle goes, "There's Tia now on the plate." Started sobbing. I fucking sobbed and finished the steak all the same.
You see, all good series come to an end too. Like, you know what I mean? Saved by the Bell. Like, Fresh Prince.
The ending of Sister.
I love that. How obscure. I mean, that's a cool. Like, we just went for like German kind of aristocracy when we just looked at our dog because she was a Schnauzer. They're German, and she just looked at it like I know dogs look like they own the place, but this dog had those wizard eyebrows and was furrowing at me.
Regal.
Like, yeah, but regal from not a fluffy standpoint immediately. It was like, so we went with Baroness because being a German, it just stood. She stood square. I was like, okay, that's what we should call the dog.
Question for you now, Baroness. Obviously, you don't call her Baroness when you're calling her. What are the nicknames? Because there's
entirely Baroness. Yeah. Entirely Baroness. I was defiant. My uncle was like, he's from Wicklow, and he's my fucking dogs. Just they're the sort of place where they shoot dogs. Do you know? They're still in 1980. Nobody's putting jackets on dogs in this part of Wicklow. You know, that kind of way. Dogs are for fucking catching sheep.
The field there. They're going to be grand.
You know, so like he couldn't grasp how you would give, like, there's, you know, damn near 3 syllables in the middle. You know, he goes, you can't. He says there has to be a fat, or the dog won't grasp it. And out of pure pig ignorance, I was like, no, I'm not shortening it. I'm not changing it to anything. And even our now 3-year-old, like, he started off with, he was calling her Baba, and she came to that. And that worked for a while. But then, you know, once his vocab kicked in around 1, I'm like, okay, now we need to knock this shit in the head. That dog's called Baron. The dog is called Baroness. And it's
their full title.
But it's the ludicrous looks you get from people and walking in the park. That's just it. Like, for the longest time, Natasha's like, we should probably change the dog's name to something shorter. We look like mentalers. I go, this is exactly what I want.
Very posh.
It is.
Very posh.
Baroness. Like, this is the thing. Dogs are typically called Rex or Jack or something like that. It's to call the dog Baroness. It is a notions thing, I know, but it's the dog just, when you kind of see her straight, like, she's a nice dog and all, but as soon as you look at her directly straight on, you're like, oh, I kind of get it. Yeah.
I can see it.
It was the German thing. And do you know what? Just actually, what popped into my head before it falls back out of my head, what showed up the other day, because it took a modification, was a toy. One of my son's first walking toys was Plap Plap, the frog.
I was delighted with that.
I remember that.
He fucking terrorized that poor dog with Plap Plap. I mean, it got him walking. Two things. He started walking at 6, right? One, because the dog was kind of like, well, come on. Like, so he would kind of just hang on to the dog. But then he discovered he does have an evil streak, much like me. He doesn't, like Natasha's a very nice person. She doesn't have an evil streak, but I do. And he has, yeah, you get it. You get it. You get it. And there's nothing funnier as a 1-year-old or a 6-month-old than watching a dog shit their bed when they see a frog flapping up the fucking off the kitchen at him. So to explain it to people, it was this timber frog with these brilliant the wheels on it, but 2 big rubbery flaps for legs, and he had a long stick, and when you pushed him along, he literally made a sound that went plap 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 plap, and it was there was no other name to give it.
If you could imagine, like, we were coming home from Munich, and I think we'd only gone for the weekend, so we only had small bags with us, and we were at the Christmas markets, and I saw it, and I said, I need to bring that home for Tom, because a private joke about Plap Plap, and I took it, like, on the plane through security in my hands. I was like, sorry, this is a personal item, I need to take this with me.
It was very important.
Take it away from me.
It was based off a visual. It was based off a visual cartoon, wasn't it? That if dogs,
it was something you
frogs.
sent me on Instagram.
It was a meme of like imagining a frog running away from something on 2 legs. And
instead of hopping.
Yeah.
And it was the notion of it running across a tiled floor, like plap 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 plap.
Yeah.
And it was Plap Plap has been modified since. He now can terrify many people quite quickly.
What fucking scuba divers flippers on him or what?
Well, yeah, I had to upgrade the feet because they won't take what's happening right now. So Fion's godfather, who's Natasha's brother, is a lunatic, and prior to him being born, he bought him a Land Rover Defender, one for a 7-year-old. And when he now drives, like, he learned to drive. It's a country thing, learned to drive early, but he thought running Plap Plap along beside him with one hand out the door down the tarmac was a great plan. Plap Plap wasn't up for the plaps. I'm sorry, the plaps did not last.
He plapped his last plap.
He did until I must actually find him because he's over at the grandparents' house because Jesus Christ, he's going to kill somebody here at the minute. I need him to actually forget about it for about another year because he is. But Plap Plap got I had to modify it and put it on the front. He actually Plap Plaps on the front bumper of the fucking Land Rover now. So you drive along. He's got I got proper rubber. It was like a tire insert. And he's got proper black. He looks pretty mean, actually, pretty bad. He's kind of gone post-apocalyptic, if you know what I mean. Like, I need to get Natasha to draw evil eyes on him or something.
The lean green plapping machine.
But he's more or less strapped to the front bumper, and he plaps along. It's the most terrifying fucking sound you'll ever hear now, as he comes tearing. Blah, 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 blah.
Very ominous.
You put an 18-volt battery into the Land Rover Defender as well, did you know?
Yeah.
Power up the road.
What's the battery? Put diesel in it.
I mean, we thought he was insane at the time, but it does seem to kind of fit the landscape ever so slightly. And it fitted in. But yeah, and then Dan, you were DJing with Bingo Loco, but you were like I only ever met you a handful of times doing it.
We only did a couple of shows together, and what was funny was I remember doing the first show with you because my whole job was always I was the DJ that did everyone's first show.
Right.
I'd been there the longest, and I had worked with all the hosts, so I could do a bit of a show to get someone through it if they didn't know it. And I remember Stephen, one of the lads, you've a new host on. We was like, I said, grand. And you rocked through the door, and fucking 3 weeks previous, I'd seen you in the Laughter Lounge, and you were doing bits non-stop about cultures, and I was just enthralled by the whole thing. I remember I was like, this is amazing. And you rocked through the door. I was like, this is going to be handy.
You felt very seen.
So I used to love doing the shows down the country with you because they leaned into you something serious, and they were always great crackling.
Was that upstairs in a restaurant, or am I imagining that?
Upstairs in a restaurant
in Dundalk.
No, the first one was it in Ratfarnham? Not Ratfarnham. It was somewhere like
Jesus, it was, yeah. It was out towards Dundrum.
yeah.
For we did a corporate for some real estate company.
Oh, they were absolute
And
guys.
they were buck wild.
Yeah, they were the absolute guys, weren't they?
Yeah, but they were mental, and they knocked great crack out of us. I think I was steaming leaving the place afterwards. I think I ended up leaving that gig and going into town into Coppard. I was around the bend place. They got us hammered.
You can see that happening though, in all fairness, because I kind of just bowl to. That's why I would always purposely, even though at the time we were only living in Ratfarnham, I would purposely drive because I went, oh, this fucking. You can get caught up in the whole thing going, sure, lads.
Oh yeah.
And before you know it, you're off fucking sopping pints, and it's literally a job you could get fucking hammered at,
Yeah.
and it's encouraged. It's like, oh yeah.
Took years off my life expectancy. I'm 27. I look 37, and I feel 47. It's awful. But it's great crack all the same. It's not it. It's just I've even noticed now, like as we're getting older. Again, I say I'm getting older. I'm 27. I shouldn't be saying it like that, but it is like you do have to kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit with that stuff, because you get swept up in it. And like I gig Monday night, alternate Tuesday nights, every Wednesday night, alternate Thursday nights, every Friday night, every Saturday night, and then I have a Sunday off. And when it's like that, you find yourself on a Tuesday, like last Tuesday just gone, I went in and I just got giddy and I had 3 beers and 6 freaking Jameson gingers, and I left the place absolutely round the bend, and then went back to one of the girls' houses with Maria and her fella, and we all went back, and we were absolutely like sitting there sculling bottles of wine until 6 o'clock in the morning. We woke up then Wednesday morning and why the fuck did we do that?
Oh, we're not able.
We're not able for it anymore. Like,
I call myself Christian Dior-lite because after any night out, I have to have a Dior-lite.
straight in.
Before and after, I'm very disciplined.
She came in from a brunch there 2 weeks ago, hammered, going, "Do you want to go out?" And I was like, "No, I've been sitting on the couch all day." And she went into the fridge, opened up a bottle of Pinot Grigio, poured herself a glass, and also made a Dior-lite on the side, and was chasing her Dior-lite with a glass of Pinot Grigio.
Look,
I was looking at her going, "Look at this." Like, I don't think it works like this. She's like, "Oh, it's grand." 45 minutes later, passed out asleep on the couch. Gone.
I'm a woman in STEM. What can I say?
Do you know what? It's exactly what you said. I will never forget that there was a turning point. You were almost there. What age are you, Maria? You're 25.
Sorry, I missed you there. What was it?
What age are you?
Me, 28.
Are you?
29.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. In fairness, yeah, you look fresher than Dan. You do.
I tell everyone that.
He keeps me young.
She gets like if she gets ID'd somewhere, I'd be looking at her going, "Jesus, I'm not getting ID'd. She is getting it." And then the other way around, when they ID me, I'm like, "Ah, mate."
Well, it's when she shaved off the mustache. You see, that was what.
It does. I'm.
I think it's suited her, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was 20. I was 28. I was at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and this point well, you've already reached it, but sometimes society can absolutely tell you that, oh no, you're by other people's, like by 18-year-old standards, you're fucking old now. I'm a pensioner. Do you know what I mean? Like and these increments will come along, and this was one of the biggest. It was like a wet cloth to the face, and I was after doing my show, and it was amazing group of lads came in, and you could kind of tell some of their age, and it was a fucking great show, and it was late. It was a late one in the Pear Tree in Edinburgh, and it was fucking not finished till like 11:30 or whatever. And to the point where I came outside, and most of the audience was waiting outside the venue and gave me a round of applause when I walked out. It was like, oh, my Irishness couldn't deal with that level of. I couldn't. I was just.
How would you stop?
But then a gang of the gang of posh English lads that were there, they were all attending the university in Edinburgh, and they were like, "Hey, the college bar, university bar, you want to go?" I went, "Fuck it, you know what? It's a quiet street. I'll have a couple of pints would be lovely. Class, let's do that." And we're over there, and I swear to God, I was drinking a pint, right? And they were all just fucking hammering shots and everything. And one of them, he said, like, I cannot remember what he said, but it was enough for me to go, am I too old to be in around this place? And genuinely, like, the nicety of another person would go, Arif, would you shut up to fuck? He genuinely looked at me and went, and wanted to answer me honestly, went, yeah, mate, yeah. And it was just
brutal.
it was probably only 8 years between us, but he knew what I was seeing. I was looking around going, oh, I've no fucking business being in around this carry on at all. This is not
Granddad.
out, like, but like 23 would have been old to him, but 28.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I've gotten checked a few times now because obviously I used to be a primary school teacher.
Yes.
This DJing, because now I'm full-time DJing. And I did Longitude a few weeks ago, and I realized now, so I did 5 years teaching. The kids who would have been in 5th and 6th class when I started out can go to Longitude. And I was freaking out. I was like, if someone comes down the front and is like, I'm out.
It's Lawlor. Yeah.
We're going back to the permanent and pensionable job.
Yeah.
I had I get those moments a lot at festivals, or when it tends to, like in the clubs, not so much. I play in the academy in Dublin, and it's a really young crowd, but they kind of look at me like, they don't really look at me like some creepy outlet up on the stage.
No, you're not there yet, like.
But the festivals are my go-to. It's not like people look at you and go, Jesus, that fella's a bit too old to be here. At the festivals, they look at you and go, Garda.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Every festival, because I'm usually DJing, I'll have my backpack with me because I'll have my laptop or my headphones, my USBs, all that kind of stuff. So I'll have a backpack on me. I'm usually with one of the other lads about my age. I've got the shitty facial hair, I've got sunglasses on or whatever, and I dress appropriate for the weather. So I wear jeans, I wear thick socks, I have a nice jacket on me. And I tell you that you go into the middle of a crowd I love hip hop, R&B, dance music, techno. There's a lot of drugs around those type of things. As soon as you walk into that crowd, no matter how busy it is, you are going to have about a 5-foot radius around you. You will be suspicious no matter where you go, because they'll all look at you and go, Garda, and they'll run away. It's brilliant. But like every festival we go to, like we were down at Life Festival there in May, and we went down for one of the lads' 30th. Every time I went into the toilet, lads would just clear. I never queued once.
It was ideal.
And I was going into one of the shacks, and the fella next to me went, oh, 10-4. And I was kind of like, cool, yeah. And you hear it, like, you hear, oh, he's a Garda. And I'm looking at them, I'm cool, I'm a DJ, I swear.
It'd be a great cover. It'd be a great, wouldn't it?
To be fair though, you look around then at Life and you're like, how do they think we're the undercovers? Because then you see the actual undercovers and you're like, come on, he's wearing a GAA top.
Yeah, and his super dry hoodie is giving it away big style. Like it's
the quarter zip and the wraparound,
the Oakley polarized.
They do have a hint of it, all right. Now before we get on to DJing and you explain to me what the fuck is going on, because literally I just think it's magical. But barbecuing, you see, that's an age appropriate thing, Dan. I don't know if you know that, but it's an age appropriate thing. Like Maria has sent me videos of you standing with an umbrella, which is
we were only talking about that the other day, actually.
To the cause, to be fair, yeah.
And I'll tell you,
and that's a guy, that's something a 20-year-old would never do. Stand in the piss in the rain with, a Weber and just trying to cook something, because they're not. They're just going to go, oh, guys, we just go to fucking fuck this. We just go to wherever the fuck.
There's a bit of both in us, to be fair. We're Deliveroo fiends. Because we're just on the go so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's just much easier just to go, oh, I'll lie on the couch until the very last second, and then you'll order something, get in the shower, come down, it's there for you, you eat it, you run. So you eat like absolute shit. But no, to be fair, when barbecue season is on, it's on. The umbrella up with the spatchcock chicken there, and trying to get the breeze right. It's rain and the smoke is coming this way first, and then it's coming right at you, and you're burning the eyes off yourself, and then the kitchen's full of smoke and the fire alarm going off. What the fuck am I doing? Just fucking do it in the oven or whatever. And you're like, no, it's worth it.
It's all worth the smoky taste, isn't it? 3 hours in the garden, an umbrella.
Cuban charcoal is all worth it. It's all worth it.
But do you know what? Like it's like, at least you took it to a relatively normal level. Like, I don't know what happened when I started barbecuing. I guess people that listen to the podcast started asking me questions, and then for some reason, I don't know more than anybody that knows a lot about barbecuing, but for some reason, loads of Irish lads would just message me, and like, I don't know what I was supposed. So I made videos for them, like, just here you go, and I would curse and swear in the things, like, it was just, but it was fucking lads took it to another level, like ruined it, like anoraks ruined fucking everything. They ruin everything. Do you know? There's good crack barbecuing, and there's like, Ara, for Jesus' sake, you don't have to be soaking it for a month. Fucking come on now. Come on now.
It's the injectors where they're injecting apple juice and apple cider vinegar, and you're like, come on now. That's all seeping out of it during cooking.
Tis a core. I did that. I tried it once, and it was like, oh yeah, this has made no effect at all. And I've fucking got carpal tunnel syndrome now from fucking trying to.
Yeah, we admittedly haven't gotten the web. I haven't been motivated enough this summer, shall we say, to get out and dust off the Weber and give it a good hose down, because it needs a good hose down. I left it out over the winter like a muppet, and there's a few bits of it gone rusty now, and I need to give it a good cleaning. But I've kind of it's sitting at the garage. Every time I go into the garage, it's looking at me going, come on, take me out now. And I'm going, oh, next week I can't finish trying to clean the thing. Like,
I'm the same, to be fair. I'm like, please take me out. I also want to.
Poor woman's going to brunch getting langers by herself in the middle of the afternoon, for Christ's sake.
They're strung out for a meal. That's all.
Like, which are we talking about again? The barbecue or me?
Where did you meet? I know this sounds like the front row of a comedy gig, but
You don't know the story.
But I mean, we haven't had a proper sit down. This is why I wanted to do this, and I said,
right.
Well, let's record it for posterity as well.
Yeah, Bingo Loco.
Was it Bingo Loco?
She was a punter, and I was a DJ.
And I was a big fan of the old Bingo Loco, to be fair.
Unheard of stuff.
You can decide yourself what to make of this. This was at the time where there was like maybe one a month. And if there was a regular customer, you'd notice them. Particularly,
right.
I was noticeable. I always gave it my best.
Tom, we've already hit our first live. It certainly wasn't one a month, because you were at 2 shows that I had done in the space of 4 days.
That was an exception. But anyway. So anyway, you can decide who made the first move here. So Dan had followed me on Instagram. This is the most 21st century story ever as well. Like, when we're telling our grandkids, they're going to be so confused.
It's the most millennial shit about us.
Yeah.
So he had followed me on Instagram because he had seen me at the shows or whatever, and he knew me as the girl who always comes to Bingo Locos.
How did you track her down?
So one of the boys,
I'm only asking what everybody else is thinking right now.
No, one of the boys that used to host had said, one of the boys that you used to host, you might need to edit this bit, you know what I mean?
Right.
One of the boys that used to host that had said, like, oh, have you seen this girl? And I said, oh, no. And I said, oh, I'm talking to her. And I said, oh, this girl. And I found her because he showed me her Instagram. And then I found the Instagram, oh, this one. And he was like, oh, don't follow her. And I went, oh, and did it to wind him up. Like, I had a girlfriend at the time. Like, I was just doing it to wind him up. That was the October. And I never really thought much of it. We had gone to university together as well. Like, the two of us were in DCU together at the same time.
Oh, right.
Very much. Pat's loyal.
She'll fucking die on that hill and tell you, my God.
But yeah, so he had followed me on Instagram, and I took that as a first move as far as I was concerned.
Of course.
And we were out at the gig, and before he corrects me, yes, I was there at New Year's Eve, and I tagged him in my story because I said, oh, that's the guy who follows me.
Disclaimer, I had broken up with the girlfriend that I was with then by this stage. That was...
You'll find no judgment here. You'll find no judgment. This is a safe place.
No crossover, don't worry. No crossover.
But so I tagged him in my story, and he blanked me on that occasion. But I went back 4 days later.
Kind of cool. Kind of cool. You got to give him that. That's kind of cool. He fucking saw that. He saw that.
Follow me on Instagram. I'm just saying, he'd been on the lurk for a while. Even when he said, "Oh, we went to college together," I was like, "Did we? Yeah." Never heard of these guys.
For anybody listening to the audio, I hope you can pick up on how Maria's face just looked. Did he? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Cool story, bro.
Yes, the only reason I knew her face, she ran for elections.
No, we don't talk about it. How? We're gonna have a scrap on this.
We have
getting involved now. He's
we've
like,
Vanessa
stop.
Wilder here beside us, do we? Van Wilder.
But anyway, say 4 days after New Year's, we went again. We got last minute tickets, and Dan was DJing again. So I tagged him in my story again, and he.
I was so ill that night. I like when you go through the run of Christmas shows, and we were on the road nonstop. I think I had done something like 37 shows or something in a month. I was absolutely rode off. And I had lost hearing in my right ear. I had like a bad sinus thing and I couldn't hear anything out of my right ear, which is a nightmare during the show because the host was to my right. So every time he spoke to me, I was just kind of guessing what he was trying to say. Like, yeah, cool, we'll try that one. And he'd go, play C'est La Vie. And I'd be in the middle playing Saturday Night or whatever. It was just, the show was all over the place because I was so unwell. And I left the show then afterwards. She had tagged me in my story again. And I had left the show and went home, was listening at home, lie up on the couch and get a bit better. And I had saw that she had tagged me again, and I was like, did a second time. Suppose I may respond this time. And responded that time anyway. We got chatting. By which stage Maria was in Coppers.
Yes, and I had a lot of thoughts.
Coppers, she was around the bend, and she
kept telling me to come to Coppers.
Kept telling me come to Coppers and meet me. I'm with the girls, and I was like, no, I'm not well. Good luck, enjoy the rest of your night or whatever. And we got chatting, but she had a few beers now and she was getting a bit mouthy. She thought she was.
I was a bit brave. I don't know where it came from. I have no idea. And then even after Coppers, I was in Zaytoons getting a kebab. Class. Obviously, part of the intrinsic part of the night. And even I sent him. I was like, yeah, I'm in Zaytoons now. And he was like, oh yeah, will you bring me back a kebab? And I was like, I am not that kind of girl. You'll take me for brunch tomorrow. And now I will say, now that I obviously know Dan quite well, I know for a fact I would have brought him back a kebab and he would have taken it and been like, cool, thanks, see you after, bye, close the door.
She thought that she thought it was a sneaky ploy for me to be like, hey, bring me back a kebab and we'll see what happens. It was no, I was like, I'm hungry. I'm about to order one on Deliveroo. You'll save me the delivery fee. Like, you might as well.
But yeah, I was very brave and I said, I was like, you'll bring me for brunch tomorrow. I want a real date, whatever, all on my high horse. And then the fear the next day. And I want to print out and put the WhatsApp messages on our like wedding invite.
No.
I was like, oh my god, no, girls. I was texting.
My chest is turning inwards here as a result of this.
My favorite one was they were like, well, is he cute? And I was like, kind of.
Thanks. 6 out of 10. I'll take it.
You're Nate all day long to me. All day long.
Thank you very much. But after that, then she decided to just swerve me for about a month after that.
I was in the fear. It was so bad.
I kept trying to get her out, like, oh, we'll go for a drink or we'll go and do this. Now I was just out of a relationship, so I was very keeping it cash, trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Me and the boys were out in town, like, do you want to come out and meet us? We're in this bar, or we'll get a bottle of wine, or come up and meet the lads. And I was trying to keep it very, very cash as we were starting, and she just kept saying no.
Because that's not a real date, and I'm worth the effort, obviously.
I know that now.
She said we'll try to bring him out to Coppers the whole day. But no, we eventually, so we did the stupid thing as well of our first official date was February 13th. Which is obviously mathematics the day before Valentine's Day. Now, talking for a while, and we had met through, because the same day that we started talking, Bingo Loco also offered me a job.
Right.
Dan had just said, he was like, do you know what? I have a rule. I'll never get with someone I work with. And then they turned to him and went, we just hired Maria. Damn it. Thanks, guys. So we'd been talking, we'd met each other, whatever. And we've decided on having an official date, whatever. And
Jesus Christ, this sounds like a business decision. Like it for the haggling that went on back and forth, like.
It's Dan and Maria PLC now at this point.
We're running it. But no, we went on our first date, and I didn't know what to do because it was the day before Valentine's Day and I really didn't want to get caught out. I was like, what if he's done something or what if he's organized something? So instead of doing like a Valentine's Day card, do you have it there?
Oh, I don't my wallet's in the other room.
So instead of doing a proper card, I made him what I called a swerve card. So it was like a little loyalty card because I turned him down about 9 times and then eventually I said yes. So I was like, for every 9 swerves, you get a date. So I laminated it and everything, a little like loyalty card. It was graphic design is my passion. It was quite good.
It's still in the wallet now. To this, the second or the first iteration of it is she gave me one, but she accidentally laminated a bit of her hair in it, and she was like, "No, he'll think I'm a psychopath."
Yeah.
So was like,
100%. Wow.
So but then I had lost my wallet.
She writes Dan into her arm with a fucking.
You don't want to come on too strong.
I lost my wallet then in October, and then luckily enough, she that was what I was most raging about. It wasn't the cards or the cash or anything in it. It was the swerve card. He was like, "Oh well, here's the first iteration." So yeah, I have that one in the wallet now.
Which is almost funnier, to be fair. But then obviously we had that date, and then the next day was Valentine's Day. I had given him my loyalty card, and he didn't have anything for me in return. Which,
of course he didn't, because it wasn't Valentine's fucking day.
I wasn't expecting anything big.
Sign of things to come, my friend.
It's for me to go on, like. But I had gone into school because I was still teaching at the time, and I'd gone into school. And I was telling them all at the staff room, how.
Oh, thank God. Jesus, for a second. Okay, class. Sit down. I've got a story to tell.
Those children mentioned.
Like me or not.
Those children still mention Maria in therapy.
But no, they, so I was telling the staff, obviously, about our date. And we had actually gotten tin whistles that week in school. And I'd learned how to play Baby Shark. And now, to be fair, we went to a casual dining spot and I did whip out the tin whistle on our first date because, again, start doesn't mean to go on. Like, you have to know what you're signing up for.
You know what show on Camden Street?
Yes.
Neon, the Thai restaurant that's right next to it. It's all real super casual dining. She whips it out.
Sitting on scaffolding boards. I remember getting tick inside the one of you.
Exact one, yeah.
Your man comes up to me and says, and you can pull your own ice cream at the end. I said, you'll pull my fucking ice cream if I'm fucking paying for the fucking dinner. I don't want a fucking job in here.
Do I get a discount now for an hour worked?
I'll clean the dishes as well if I can get half right.
So you whipped out the tin whistle inside Neon.
Yeah. So and I think it was cool.
She played Baby Shark. She's like, I just learned this. Watch, played it. At that point, I should have known she had ADHD. Like that. Oh, yeah. That's like red flag. Not red flag number 1, but it was a definite sign that she had ADHD at this point. But she played Baby Shark, and then not only did she play Baby Shark, she then went, that kind of sounds like the Titanic. She hit a note and it sounded like Titanic, and then started to figure out by ear how to play the Titanic in the middle of the restaurant. Everyone was like, did Baby Shark? Everyone was like, haha, gas. And then the next 2 or 3 minutes, she was trying to figure out by ear how to play the Titanic. So everyone was kind of like, gas. Okay. All right.
It's gone on a bit long.
Come on now. Put the meal here.
But anyway, I was telling my staff this the next day, and they were saying, do you not want to see him again? Was that like a ploy? Like, do you hate him? Do you want a second date? I think it worked really well. And then immediately we had a staff meeting after school, and my school at the time was broken up into prefabs, and we all were in the one prefab looking out at the main road, and this white van, which already not great.
Nothing wrong with it.
Classically turns up to the school, and we were just about to start the meeting, and my phone rings, and I just knew. I was like, oh God, he's going to do something. And now, in fairness to him, this wasn't meant to be a 10 things I hate about you moment. He didn't realize that all of the staff were going to be there, and all in one room,
and all knew about him now at this stage,
and all had just heard about this. He rocks up, comes out of the van with a big bouquet of flowers. Obviously, all the staff in my school are looking out the window, being like, whoa, this is a bit much. And our friend Pete, who brought Dan in his van, starts blaring Bruno Mars, Just the Way You Are.
Out the window.
Out the window. There's still children around at this point as well. Like, it was a lot. And this was after our first date. So I've actually kept him around out of pure stubbornness and embarrassment, because how embarrassing would it be if we didn't go on a second date after that? So here we are.
To be fair,
That's about 45 minutes. That's most of the podcast now at this stage.
to be fair, I do. Yeah, I was wondering, because I could see there was a point where Dan was talking quite a bit earlier in the podcast, and I could see Maria was just kind of going, "No, you can shut the fuck up now. 1 second. As soon as I get the fucking, as soon as the gate opens, I'm off." I know that every facet of that story needed to be told. I mean, you know, could have been done quickly, but I do like the fact that you didn't pick up on Dan's absolute, like, how early in your relationship, even prior to your relationship, you were still thinking that men think like women. Like, that's the number one rule I give to any woman early doors in her dating career. I will say, never once for a moment think he can think like a woman, and vice versa. There's a lot of it.
I will say, I was raised by a single mother in a house with my grandparents and 4 aunts, or 3 aunts.
None of them were trying to date you, Dan.
No, but I understand how women work a little bit more than the average gentleman. I was growing up in a house full of estrogen. You know what I mean? So I always say that I know a little bit more than some of my mates would.
Oh, yeah, in fairness. But
yeah,
I mean,
you definitely avoided the whole, I didn't have anything prepared for Valentine's Day after the first date.
But to be fair, it wasn't Valentine's Day. Like, from that, and also like the whole idea of Zaytoon, I was actually in Dan's head there going, here, you wouldn't drop us up and down. Because right then I was thinking, she's a murder or Zaytoon all the same. Like, this like, it wouldn't have even crossed my mind that you were going to come up for anything else. Oh, you're sticking around, are you? Oh, lovely. I have tea bags somewhere if you want a cup of tea. It's
Oh no, yeah. So that was us.
That's us since then.
Yeah.
And DJing then for, so we Maria, when did it fuck the school and going DJing full time? Like, what was the?
This is my first year of it.
Okay.
It was actually around this time last year where the conversation was happening of,
do I give it up or not? Because I learned the DJing over lockdown out of pure nosiness. I was like, how does that work? And how does that work? I'm such a teacher. I need to know how everything works and ask a million questions.
Stand there with a stick. Arish.
Well, I was like, I'd always watched him, and I always loved music. And I'd turn to him and I'd say, play this song. And he's like, where did you come up with that? And like, yeah, but like, where are we after pulling that from? Do you know? So he knew I had the knowledge. I never did music or anything in school, and I never thought I was in any way musically.
Yeah, creatives are creatives regardless. It doesn't matter if somebody hands you a hammer and chisel, you'll end up getting there somewhere. You know what I mean?
You say that, but if you were to hand me a fucking paintbrush, I'd do a stick man and it'd be awful now. Like,
but it's because you've absolutely no interest in it. But at some stage, like if Maria was an artistic bricklayer, at some stage you'd come along to work with her going, "Fucking hell, how'd you
do that?
Gives a go at that thing there." You know, you would. And you wouldn't make an utter bollocks, because when you're creating, you have to. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's, so I can see how the tin whistle Baby Shark went to, fuck it.
That was the start.
Give me on them dicks. Give me a go at that fucking thing. What are you doing there?
Only training I needed. But I think I did it half and half as well. So I did it at the weekends while still teaching. And I just found myself wrecked. And I was like, it's not fair. Like, I can't do both of them justice. You know, because you don't get a rest. And I loved them both equally. Like, it wasn't like I was sick of teaching or anything. But I just kind of said, I was like, if I don't take the opportunities I'm getting now, they'll just go to someone else or they'll be gone. Like, if it's one of those things, if you're in the right place at the right time and things are aligning, you have to kind of go for it. And to be fair, like, my school were so sound about it. They were always like, you know, you'll always have a job here. And to be fair, at the moment, everywhere is crying out for teachers. We're all too busy going off being DJs, unfortunately. You know, the classic case. That's the real problem.
Oh, it's a direct path of, it's a tale as old as time.
I know the one.
All my primary school teachers, we couldn't get them out of the clubs. It was just...
It was the original Hannah Montana story. But...
And you know what? We always laugh about that Hannah Montana story. There at Longitude, she played on the Coca-Cola stage there on the Sunday,
Yes.
And we were all, for her set, me and all the boys, we were there, and we were like, we'll go down, we'll check out Maria's set. So we were all standing around having drinks, listening to Maria's set, place packed out. And she gets on the microphone, and I could hear dum chi, the intro to it. And I was like, what the fuck is that song coming in? And then she gets on the microphone, and she was like, I'm gonna try something here, and if it doesn't work, it's going to terrify me and I'm not going to be happy about it, but I'm trying it anyway. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And then you get the best of both worlds and played the Hannah Montana theme song. And we were rolling around the place.
Brilliant.
As it lifted the crowd, like all the crowd sang every word of it. It was hilarious.
I was so worried though, because I had to do the quick maths in my head and I was thinking, right, okay.
Oh, age-wise,
yeah. Minimum 16, which means they were born in, oh God, no. Like
yeah.
I had to take a real punt. I was like, are they old enough to get Hannah Montana? Is that vintage now? Like, is that beyond their time? It really freaked me out, but they did get it, so it's fine. It was fine, but I would have had an existential crisis had they not gotten
it. Because you got to follow through, don't you? There's no.
Oh yeah, had
right.
Because like different times where I played, Cheryl Cole or Girls Aloud, we're like belters, great songs. And they look at me like I have 10 heads. And I feel like I have to sit down with them and be like, okay, so Nadine Coyle. So what it all started when she
lost
a
passport.
I have to do the full origin story. I'm going to turn off the music now. I'm an educator through and through. What can I say? But no, I do. I miss the kids, but I do love being. I love where we're at now. I think I'd made the right choice, but it's just terrifying.
Yeah, of course. Jesus Christ, I went from being a fucking civil engineer to being a stand-up comedian. It's like, when you tell people that you've done that, it's like, oh, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
there's something wrong.
Something a little bit,
particularly in Ireland,
tapped with us to do.
Yeah,
I think as a country we're very much like, and does that be paying well now?
Yeah.
The DJ now, just give you the money and all. We're very like skeptical when it comes to any creative line of work, because you're like, geez, you must be a madman for not just taking a wage and being happy working somewhere, like,
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that in a country that's, they spin this bullshit line that we're the artists and scholars and poets and all the rest of it, and man, they're pretty quick to turn their arse on anything to do creatively at all, unless you're doing some abstract
at the moment. Sure.
I know. Listen, man, I'll tell you some stories off air about even the Patreon. Well, the Patreons know it at this stage. But and then when was it straight out of school going, I'm fucking DJing? Or were you DJing through school? Were you one of them kids who was making a fortune, taking money off youngsters?
I wish, my God, I wish would have made things a lot easier. No, my granduncle, my granddad.
Is Tiesto, right? Okay.
Yes, I wish.
Stands an echo, baby.
Yeah, flat out. No, my granduncle, he'll kill me if he ever hears me say that, but my granduncle was a DJ.
If we were British, we'd call him your great uncle.
Great uncle. Yeah, sorry,
yeah.
Great.
Grand uncle.
But
yeah, he's only grand. No, he's great.
But he was always DJing, and when I was a kid, I was always fascinated by it. But my mum, I was always, can I get a set of decks for Christmas? And she told me, off because I make enough noise as it is.
Yeah.
Blaring the music as it is, so she didn't want to give me another reason to be doing it. So it was always kind of by one side. And then when I was 17, 18, getting ready to go to university, I went to DCU, and the societies there was, you could join speech and drama, or you could join freaking archery, or Young Fianna Fáil, or all kinds of mad shit, like Young Fianna Fáil being the most mad of them all. But the DJ society was one that was there, and I just said, oh yeah, that's 100% what I want to do. I remember going into, that was 2013 when I started in college. I was 18, and I went into, they used to do tutorials, and I went in the first day, and there was about 50 people there, and I was like, and one of the lads, who's actually a really good mate of mine now, was teaching the class, and he was kind of going, yeah, everyone get up and do a bit here in front of everyone. I was like, fuck that, man, I'm not getting up in front of 50 people in this small room now making show myself. So I left it, and then it just so happened I was lucky I was living on campus in DCU at the time, And the way the societies work was you had to lock away all your equipment at night, but because
Yes.
you're DJing, you can't be locking it away at night because that's when you need it. So we needed somewhere to put the gear, and I was like, sure, I'll do it. I live on campus. So I took all the
Oh,
gear.
you crafty fucking Will Hunting fucking who are you?
Yeah, fucking brilliant. So I came home, set
Comes
up.
back in the equation of the greatest dance song ever has been written the next morning.
So I went back to the apartment, set up the decks, and left them there for 6 months. And I never went to another tutorial. I just locked myself in my room for 6 months and just taught myself how to do it. And went back to one of the tutorials then, and they were like, "Go on, jump on the decks there." And we haven't seen you, sure. You were just looking after the decks. And I got on and I did it, and they were like, "Oh shit, you've actually learned something." And then sure, it kind of just took off from there.
So what were you doing to teachers? You plugged the thing in. Have you all your music linked up to on a laptop?
It was I had downloaded all stuff off fucking dodgy YouTube.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Not a single song was paid for. And downloading the music video, and yet there's accidentally people talking at the start of it. But yeah, I just download music and just trying to figure it out as you go. And even I say that a lot of people kind of come to me and go, "Oh, would you teach me how to do it?" And I'll always tell people, go away and do it yourself, because the way I'll tell you how to do it might be contrary to how you need to be told how to do it. It's something you just need to do and figure out as you go. And that's how you kind of get better at it. So even like with Maria, everyone kind of says, "Oh, you taught Maria." I'm like, "No, I didn't teach Maria. I facilitated it rather than actually."
I plugged it in.
Yeah. Essentially, that cable goes there, that cable goes there, you're grand.
To be fair, he never also taught me like as a career. Like he was never like, and if you do this, you do this, you do this. It was more just nosiness that I wanted to learn how to do. And then when he realized I was actually all right at it, he was like, "Oh, this is an option." We never did it. But the aim of it,
I could never get cover for any of my gigs, so I said, right, well, if I can't find cover, I'll just make cover. So
yeah, make cover. Yeah, exactly. And Denny he's too short to get up to the decks as well. So Dex, he's not very dexterous. Outstanding. I love that. No, that's very nice. I'm just going to put a mark under that there on the recording on Audacity. Fantastic. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to.
There's your soundbite for the start. There is that little, what's that meme on it's always on Instagram. You see a little dashend on the decks.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be Denny.
He'd be far too nervous.
He'd scream at the decks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it went. And I was years trying to get gigs and couldn't get gigs when I was through university and stuff like that. I was working as a fireman through university. Couldn't get gigs anywhere, and trying to do dance music, because everyone wants to play dance music and wants to do the big rooms. And I got tick and said there's no hip hop DJs, so I locked myself in my room again for another 2 months and taught myself how to play hip hop. And then came back out and said I can play hip hop, and got all my gigs as a hip hop DJ, and I became known as a hip hop DJ. And now I don't have a single hip hop gig. I just go off and play dance music. And then every year now, Longitude, the biggest hip hop festival in the country, come back and go, "You're the hip hop DJ. You'll do hip hop."
Great.
2 months before the gig, I have to sit down and go, right, let's try and learn hip hop over the last year and a half.
What are the kids into nowadays?
Yeah, what are they into?
They like him.
Do you like Cypress Hill? Anyone like Cypress? No. No. Oh, the lads from Cypress Hill and nursing homes, like.
Cypress over the hill now.
I left it there for you. I left it there. That gate was winging open. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So in layman's terms, I won't, and like this is like, how do you write a joke? I fucking hate this, but literally, I want people, because you're visually, like you're not talking people through what you're physically doing. We can't see your magic hands behind. So we see a deck, what would have been once upon a time where two records were. They had now been replaced with two, I guess, digital replacements, but they still do the same thing, don't they? In that you can slow down the music, you can blend one in over the other. And what I'm trying to do,
well, you can loop them for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, right.
Before, and you can get a lot more creative with the new gear that's out there now.
Yeah, you can still do the wicca wicca, which is what most people ask.
The wicca wicca. This is what I want, and also what I'm trying to do is to explain for somebody who has no idea, that from the wedding DJ who had literally has just plugged in a laptop and it just stands back, but pre-made music. Like, will you go, "Oh fuck, I have to," and you get up and you actually record something, go, "This has to," you're bringing, because quite often you'll see DJs, you know, like I've always had a fantasy, like I always loved dance music, but I always notions of going to Tomorrowland never came about because work.
Same, yeah.
Work, you know what I mean? There was a notion back when I was doing a show called Damo and Ivor, where we were all going to go, and there was, this will give you an slight insight into RT. We were going to charter a plane. This is the kind of carry on that was going on at the time, right?
Yeah,
That's where
accounts were in flow, I tell you.
things were good. Things were good. Never happened. But when you see, like, you'll watch Tomorrowland, and for a hell of a lot of what the DJ is doing, he's up on the fucking, he or she are miles away from the decks, and you're kind of going, but there's definitely something happening there. You didn't just press play on a stock song. Do you know what I mean? Did you, like, have you prepared some of the set? Can that be, like, is that something that people do, or what am I saying?
You can prep a general direction.
Right.
I find. I'll tell you, even last night, I was playing in Dawson Street, 37 Dawson Street.
Yes.
I'll go in, and like what might work this Wednesday will not work next Wednesday.
Right.
And they might just want the crowd that's there that night will want a load of dance music. And obviously 37 Dawson Street versus Tomorrowland Main Stage, two very different gigs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can, if you're on Tomorrowland Main Stage, you can make a couple of very cool pre-mixed, 15-minute blends or whatever that gives you time to stand up on the decks and get on the microphone and tell people to relax their anus, as one DJ did on the main stage. Tomorrowland.
No need. Everybody has quite a lot of drugs on board. Everybody's anus is really relaxed. I can guarantee you. There's.
But yeah, you can go that direction. But like for your everyday DJ who's in the pubs and the clubs and the bars and the venues in Ireland, you're going in and you're going, right, this happened on Wednesday and this worked well, but geez, it's absolutely bombing for me here tonight. Now what do I do? Yeah. So I might have to go a hip hop direction one week, or I might have to go dance music direction one week, or just like classic rock and ballads. And you kind of have to just ebb and flow with whatever people are giving you. And even there, the other night, Tuesday night, this woman come up with it's one of the hardest part of it is dealing with the public.
That was going to be my. I was going to ask the difference between somebody asking Maria and asking Dan for something. Like what?
Stark contrast. She has patience, I've zero. But she did there on Tuesday. A woman came up to me, and she's always in real glamorous looking woman, and she's a Latina, and she comes up and she's like, "Are you going to play any Latino music?" And I was like, "No, we don't usually play that here in this venue." And she, "Oh, well, the guy that's here on Saturday usually does." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's funny because I'm the guy who's usually here on Saturday. And I definitely don't." And I was kind of sitting there. I was like, "Look, I'm not going to play it. I don't think it's going that direction now. It's whatever." So that was grand. That was about 12:30. I'm playing on until about 2:45, and it's a long space of time. And if you're doing dance music for that long, people can kind of get a bit fed up of it and go, "Yeah, the vibe or the energy." And I said, fuck it, I'll throw on a bit of Beyonce and kind of hip hop direction. I moved that way, and then I played Shakira and Sergio Mendes with the Black Eyed Peas, Mash Que Nada, 2 Latin songs. And this woman kept thundering straight in my face. "Why did you tell me you weren't going to play it when you did?" And I was like, "Excuse me." And she was like, "Well, you said you weren't going to play it, and then you played it. So that's why did you tell me no when you were going to?" And I was like, "Okay, look, I didn't really think I was going to, but just it happened, and that's it." And I was like, I'm a little bit confused as to why you're angry with me. You are angry that I've played your song, but just that I earlier told you that I wasn't going to do it, and you weren't prepared to hear it, or what's going on?" And she then, as I was saying it back to her, was getting confused as to why she was angry at me as well. But she just kept doubling down, going,
"Of course, she's Latina, and
this isn't okay. Like this isn't right, and you should be you should have told me you just play it later." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know what you want me to do now. I've played the song."
You should have asked her for her email address. See, I would have doubled down on the satirical dickhead and went, "Oh my good God. Oh, I'm so I went looking for. Oh, were you in the bathroom? Because I swear to God, can I have your email address? Because next Saturday I will email you my entire set list. I swear, I genuinely."
So you're lucky. You're one of those quick guys. I'm one of those guys that stands there in shock in the moment, and then they walk away, and then I go, "That really fucking happened." And then I sit there and think of all the smart, clever things I should have did, and then I drive myself mad.
Be like, "And then she said this, but what I should have done."
I know what's right.
Yeah, but there's a danger in my method too, because when you pull the trigger too quick, sometimes you're driving home going, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that." Yeah.
I was only saying to one of the lads the other day, I'm what some lads can say, I know I definitely can't say. Like there's one of the lads there, and we got when Quinn went into heat, we got a can of bitch spray, what they call it. And it's for trying to keep when you bring her on a walk, trying to keep your unwanted attention away. And I showed one of the lads, and he said, "Will you please bring that into the venue that we play in? Please bring it in. So whenever some woman comes up to me and just whip it out and go, fuck off." And show her the bitch spray and spray it at her. And
I mean, it's a pretty good gag. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
That's a pretty fucking good gag.
But I think if I'm to do it, like if he was to do it, they'd look him in the face and go, "Fuck you," and walk off. If I'm to do it, I think they're swinging at me. Do you know what I mean?
They're calling the manager. Yeah.
Some people just have that bravado where they can get away with that stuff. I'm not one of those guys that can get away with it.
Genuinely, even as you were saying it, Dan, I can imagine you holding it up going, "Era, this, I'm making a joke here." You know, I can, you're too nice. It's the guard look too. Like it's the, you know, it's that's just not a fact.
Peaceful kind of guy, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, but like to be fair, I mean,
no. You know what? Let's fucking be honest and let's say what everyone's really thinking. People are looking at me going, "I can take him." They're not looking at him going. They're not looking at me going, "Oh, he's a peaceful kind of guy." They're looking going, "I can definitely slap him around."
You see, it's all perception too. If you, here's the thing, and this is a real dangerous experiment. I mean, thankfully you do have a woman, because this could right. Shave off the chin smig and shave your moustache into this, just here.
Oh my
then
God,
hold up whatever the fuck you want. For the Patreons, you can guess. Well, they'll have seen it, but for the audio listeners, you'll guess what moustache I'm talking about.
Definitely don't pull that one
Nobody's quizzing that guy. Nobody's quizzing that guy.
I'm not claiming that as one of my costumes.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not taking credit
It
for that.
crossed your mind at some point, because you have, I guarantee you.
she's not Prince Harry.
I have the best. I do have my Elizabeth Arden cream though at hand at all times. So to be fair, but, he has the best Halloween costume potential, and he won't use it. Right? So,
facial hair. Yeah. Okay. So
just who he is as a person, right? If he carries around Head and Shoulders, a few white flakes on his shoulder, he's not Dan Duffy. He's Dan Druffy.
For the Patreon,
that is
subscribers, you can see, you can imagine Tom's reaction there on his face. I think his eyes are.
That is that's the podcast over, guys. We are done. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Thank you very much to Maria and Dan. No more to be said after that, because we will not outdo that. I'm sorry.
That's it.
I'm sorry. That is so deep to the core.
I just want people to stop encouraging her, because every year I'm like, no, because I'd be that guy walking around the nightclub on Halloween with a bottle of shampoo. What the fuck is that? It's one of those costumes you have to go up and ask about, and you have to explain, and then they kind of go.
If anything should be the driving force behind you to become super successful, that it's so that you get to a point where you don't even, like if Tiesto is walking around and they've done a play on his name and it's like I don't know, a COVID Tiesto, or I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But it's
would you pull one out of the man?
It was a bit. Oh shit! It was off the cuff. I'd have to workshop and spitball it around small bit. But what I'm saying is, if anything, do we all have to find our muse somewhere? Like, if any driving factor, it's to get to a point where you go out, walk into any nightclub in Dublin, and they'll go, "That's Dan," and just do the facial expression I just did.
Turning, yeah. We met. I might pronounce his last name wrong. Maverick Saber.
Maverick Saber. Yeah.
Maverick
Saber.
Yeah. Yeah. The other day, and one of my friends, she's my hype woman, and as soon as she meets people, she's like, "So this is Maria. Here's her Instagram. Look at what she does." She'll always advertise me. But she was showing him my Halloween costumes, and he was like, "Well, what would you do for me?" And I was like, "Easy, light bulb, lightsaber, next."
Yeah.
Perfect.
Move.
Done.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 2 names. He's got Maverick. You can stop there. Stop there. Do you know what I mean?
I always go an extra layered.
But when you'd have to have an actual goose, a gander on his shoulder, you know what I mean, as Maverick, and you know what I mean. Not to be so on the nose, because you, as you know, with your pun costumes, you can't be
like their own.
Yeah. It's, So talk us through some of your. I sound now like something of fucking Virgin fucking morning TV. So Maria, talk us through.
Welcome to the 6 o'clock show.
Please talk us through your process.
Some of the costumes are because what I fucking love is that you don't get it on the surface straight away. You go, and it just unfolds and unfolds. It's like, oh, lovely.
Yeah,
lovely.
You can't wear them out is the thing I've discovered, because it is a case of you have to stop people and go, well, actually, it's funny because if you have to explain it, it's not funny. So it's one of those, it has to be a picture with a caption.
It's also the case you can't wear them out because it's a fucking 3 or 4 man team trying to hold up the photo.
That is also true.
And the dress and the makeup and the lighting and the camera.
It's quite the process.
You were who? Oh God, long ponytail. Coffee who?
Oh, Ariana Grande.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I did, to be fair, walk around Coppers with a life-size, human-size coffee cup that was all around me. And it was a Halloween night. It was quite a busy night. And I still managed to get myself around. And I think there's a video of me doing like the Saturday night dance. And I still maneuvered it. I was very proud of myself.
Not only did she do that, she went around hustling all the nightclubs that night because she won one best dress and then went, oh, fuck, I might try my arm in another place. Went to 3 different venues and won best dress in 3 different venues. She went home with 600 quid richer.
We see, that's what you do, isn't it? That's
all worthwhile.
That's capitalism. It's shamelessness. That's how you're going to end up with a millionaire wife. You know what I mean? This is, you don't worry about people's emotions or the morality of situations. You just go smash. There was a bunch of people tried their hardest with whatever shite they slapped on them that night.
I will say, no one else tried. I was looking around and I was like, it's not even close. That's what made me think. I was like, I can do the rounds here. But no, like you can even see in one of my costumes from last year, I was Molly May from Love Island, but I was Molly May alone. And as in Molly Malone.
Yeah, tremendous.
And,
tremendous.
I made a cart from scratch. Now it is hard, right? But if you can just see the video here.
Oh my God.
So the cart is actually the top of a table. So it's a wooden like slab type thing. And I've Dan standing here trying to hold it up and balance it. That wheel is not a real wheel. It's just a piece of cardboard on the front. So the pair of us, I'm looking like I'm actually leaning on it, but I'm holding it up. Dan's on the other side, and Jadel's there trying to get my angle, and I'm like, turn the flash on. It was a very stressful time. There's multifaceted.
Tom, I'll tell you, Halloween I both love and hate it, because I love it because it's great crack and it's good buzz about the place, and it's always funny seeing like different, say, media outlets will pick it up and go, FM104 have shared this, or the Q102 have done X, Y, and Z, and it's gas. But I can tell you, the 3 weeks like leading up to it, and then like all the packages arrive at the door, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, oh, that's my drindle. And I'm like, what? And
you're Jewish now. What?
The amount of shit that's in there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, God, because I was like, is it a dreidel for Christmas?
Sorry, I always get it wrong. But just the amount of stuff.
Maria is kind of a Jew,
and she won't tell me any of the she won't tell me any of the costumes. Even I'm left in the dark until she comes down the stairs.
Down blue.
So she'd be sitting there like, I come up to the bathroom. She's got a bald cap on, painting herself blue. There's like paint marks all over the wooden floor downstairs, and she comes down and I'm like, right, I'm the Wicked Witch of the West. And I'm like, what? And then I see it all put together, and I'm like, oh, grand. And she keeps them all completely secret from me all year.
Blue Wicked Witch for anyone.
Yeah.
Blue.
Oh yeah, I remember it was absolutely tremendous. I put both your Instagrams in in the show notes, because it will do a world of. There's like it's a lot. Have you been tempted to, because obviously being creative and stuff, because it's a fucking lot to do, and the impact is good, but do you, like, throughout the year then, how do you keep that, like, for want of a better phrase, and you'll appreciate this, that freak inside you, and not say, listen, I gotta make gift cards or something to get this shit out? Do you know what I mean? Because
I think the gift cards idea is brilliant. Like, set up a little Etsy shop and work away, or even prints, like, because she's the creative artistically in the house. So like the big graphic wall the whole way up the house, and
Yeah.
it's just hundreds of prints, like where it's like a can of Club Orange, but instead of club it says cunt. And like I'm not sure if you can say that word on the podcast.
Oh God, you can, yeah.
Oh,
I
no,
literally,
that was
Aoife Dooley, I've framed it and I've moved it because I've redone the office here. Aoife Dooley actually gave me one of her first prints of "You'll Be Grand, You Mad Cunt," and it's like she's actually the most returning podcast. Actually, listen to any episode. If you go back and listen to any Aoife episode, every one between her catching her tit in the back of a chair and stuff, like there's just stories. But like, if you want to find a 100% genuine person who will give you the roadmap as to even starting out small, like God, she used to do comedy. She used to stand up. I forget her name. She was an amazing. She was so up your street when it came to obscure satire.
Yeah.
Twisted Doodles.
Yeah.
Twist.
I have a few of her bits. Brilliant.
Like,
yeah.
She was like, her actual stand-up was some of the most genius dark shit. I wish she kept it up, but I don't think she was getting the hit, the hit that she was getting from her drawings. But that's the thing, you have to do something. Like, you have to. I mean, yes, you have DJing as a creative outlet, but that mad shit, packing it all into one night. I mean, that's Santi stuff, and Santi sure as shit goes mental.
Well, as you know,
what I mean?
Santi spent his whole year preparing for Christmas. I am the same. We already have, like, I'm already on Depop. I try to be sustainable about it because a lot of the stuff I buy, I'm like, I'm not buying a brand new.
Oh, there are porpoises dying just as a result of your Amazon fucking shopping cart.
I actually took the nice
Greta Thunberg, just one tear running down her cheek when she sees Maria.
Just to be clear, I try to use as many recycled goods as possible. But no, we what was I saying?
Halloween costumes. You're workshopping them.
Yes, I workshop them throughout the year. So because a lot of the stuff I look for is very specific stuff. I have a lot of niche would be the word. Yeah. I have a lot of alerts on, like the Facebook marketplace and stuff, being like, I need a Virgin Mary costume. I'm like waiting until all the nativity plays for adults are over just to see when they only happen very not very frequent.
But there'd be stuff like, I remember one year she got a wig made for the dog.
Wow.
He refused to wear it. I was very upset about it. Now, I still think there's a huge amount of potential for that costume, but I just don't think he's going to get into it. So I had a wig made from black hair. I did it up in a bun. I had a little champagne glass to stick on his bum.
Oh my God.
It was going to be Kim Kardashian. He's just not a cooperating dog.
We need a minute silence there for that one. I'm gonna pour a little drop of tea on the ground there out of appreciation for that one. That's Jesus Christ Almighty. We just broke the fucking internet with that one. That's oh my good God.
Yeah.
That is fucking tremendous.
The poor fella fucking hated it.
It was also the day he got his vaccination as well. So
he's feeling sorry for himself, and I was trying to wrestle him into a bin bag and trying to sellotape a champagne flute to his arse. This isn't happening here.
I actually had to make an emergency costume that night because I didn't have his. And like, people get quite upset if they're like 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
Like, as soon as October hits, I get multiple messages being like, it's the month. Are you ready? And I'm like,
you should. I mean, realistically, it would be smart for charities to get in behind, because it's gathered serious fucking snow now at this stage.
Because that's the thing. I used to be advertising myself. Like, the way when you're a teacher, you're meant to have everything on private and you change your name to Irish or whatever. I used to have mine as Mazerbaijaan because everyone used to call me Maz. Like, you had all these like code names. You didn't want to be banged. And now I'm like, oh, actually I'm a DJ now. So yeah, everyone listens to my Spotify playlist. someone book me for a wedding. So it's great now. I actually have something to advertise. But until then, I was like, look at this, but don't look too far.
But people do, like, people can't help but they like to just jump on it because it's just an easy, fast meme to share. In that you become the meme. Like, do you remember the lads that they all dressed up as a selection box?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that got shared high up and low down. Like, and it was, simplistic in what it was, like, but it's still in my memory. Do you know what I mean? I don't know any of these people, but I think it would be remiss of you. There's do you know, if you had a marketing manager standing over you right now, to go, Maria,
my manager.
Yeah,
that's my job now. And it's, you know, I was only saying this the other day.
Manager, like, you need to go. You're danger, manager. Oh my God, you're too friends.
But no, that was my job, and like now that she's my project with the DJing, where I can go see all the shit that I was too nervous to say when I was starting out. I'm telling her exactly what to say. The stuff I didn't
perfect
say.
Wow.
I go, no, you should be saying this. Knowing I full well when I had that opportunity, I was like, I'm not fucking saying it. But she says it, and then it works. And I'm like, fucking hell, I should have been doing it years ago.
Almost nobody gets that opportunity to have somebody who's run the road before you. Like, and if they have, well, I don't know what the DJ world is like, but in the stand-up comedy world, there's nobody looking back over their shoulder to tell you. I can fucking tell you that much. Nobody is, like.
Yeah, but no, with the Halloween costumes, I say we. She's concept a charity idea to
brilliant.
We're trying to figure out the mechanics of it and how it work, and we want to try and make a big night of it. I'm not sure if you want to go into it, but
no, until you finalize it, we'll have you back on to
phenomenal pun in the name, I can assure you.
It's purely just to tell you the name.
It's mainly the name. I come up with names of stuff, and then I come up with the theory behind it afterwards. Like, I've done this with multiple like even DJing. I'm like, so we call it this, and then they're like, okay, what happens? I'm like, I'll flesh that out later.
You'll always find the road back. You just once you know the destination, you'll always find the road back. Jesus, same with joke writing. You know where you want to go, and you're just trying to draw the road back and not get cancelled in between. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you probably have it as well, that like the more you think about something, the more you sit down to go, I need to think of a joke, the harder it is to do that. Whereas, like, that's why things come to me randomly throughout the year. But if I were to sit down and say, okay, I need one more costume, you come out with some crap. I was under pressure last year because I tried to do an extra costume, and I did dress up, and those photos will never resurface because it's the worst thing ever. It was Marilyn Monroe and Keating.
Do you know what? Sometimes you're saying that yourself because you set yourself quite a high standard, but if you could find an alternative, because everybody needs an A side and a B side. Like, if you could find an alternative, like, trust me, there's jokes I've dumped and I've said them to people, like, I've gone, oh, fucking God, low hanging fruit, if ever. That's not craft. That's beneath my craft, and I'll mention it to somebody who doesn't know fuck all about writing material or structuring an hour. And I go, Jesus Christ, I'd fucking love to see that. And you're like, what? What? I'm wrong about all, because sometimes you can write for the gallery. You know, you got to think about create for the masses too, a small bit. Like, they're literally sitting on the toilet. Most people are sitting on the toilet when they're appreciating your work, and they're going, class, swipe. Actually, I'll swipe back. I'm going to send that to somebody. That's unfortunately.
Exactly.
He knows we're talking about him. Look at him. He's not cooperative. But I did that day that he didn't get to dress up in his costume. I had to make a makeshift one. And it just came to me because I bought a load of paper and I was folding it into fans. So I created this dress out of, when you fold paper back and forth, whatever. I made a dress entirely out of fans, and I wore it. Only fans. Amazing, right? And then I went back into school, and it was after I left the school. Now, most of the parents knew I was doing the DJing, whatever. But, like, obviously the school had to inform them that I was leaving for another career to pursue something new. And at this point, all my profiles were public, and the kids that I taught are like, they're old enough to understand how Instagram works, and they were having a little look. And one of them announced to the class, I didn't correct her at the time. I absolutely should have. She announced to the class, she said, I was on the class and I was looking at all your costumes. And I was like, oh. She was like, yeah, I was on her Instagram, and I also saw your OnlyFans picture.
Oh.
And she this to the class, and then only afterwards I was thinking, I was like, this be taken up wrong. Because the rest of the kids might go home and be like, Maria called in today. She's doing OnlyFans, I heard. What's that?
Another career path.
Yeah, another career path. She drove in a brand new Merc. Now, she left her dignity at the gate, but she came in a brand new.
I'm like, listen, respect to anyone who does it. I just, I was like, no, I'm a DJ. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. Listen.
Probably clarify that one.
To walk out of teaching, I guess is there's going to be a trail left behind you of innocence. Where it's like, where they imagine teachers just come out from behind a cabbage and they go back behind that cabbage in the evening time.
That's it. Yeah, they don't have lives. Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're a kid, you have the kid out or whatever. Even when you were a kid, and you'd see your teacher in the supermarket, and you'd be like, oh my, you're blown. And then you see one of them on OnlyFans, or your dad sees one of them on the OnlyFans. Some mad old stuff.
Yeah.
I won't. You have dogs. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, we veered away from that, from the concept of the charity night. I purely, even if it doesn't go into the podcast, I just want her to tell you.
I'm allowed to hear the name. Okay. Prepare yourself, people.
Bleep this out, okay? And if anyone wants to sponsor this, you'll get it unbleeped. So someone can get it off the ground for me. Thank you.
Send you the code for the bleep.
Discount code for bleeps.
So I have this idea where people dress up and they do like a kind of, have you ever seen RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yes.
Or like her, you know, the concept, whatever.
I'm not fully built for that show. It's a lot for me. It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Same for me.
But you know the whole idea of it, whatever. So people on Halloween, you create costumes that you've made in a sustainable fashion. So from, you know, different charity shops, whatever, and you do like a runway competition, prize for best dress, whatever. And we're going to call it St. Vincent de RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh my God.
Phenom. Phenom.com. I'm very proud of that. That's like, I came up with a name and I was like, now what can we do with this?
I ran it past my local gag club at home. My mom was involved with them, and she rang me and said, look, Stephen from the club he's asking about events. They're trying to do fundraisers. And I was like, oh, see what he would like, run this by him and see what he thinks, you know, and get all the lads to dress up in drag or whatever and do a drag show, be gas, people buy tickets and, you know, go to a fundraiser. And I was like, right, so it's the Vincent RuPaul's Drag Race. You get all the girlfriends to dress the boyfriends up as lads, and they all go out on the stage and they perform in drag, and that's it. And you sell tickets, happy days. And he was like, "Oh, right, sounds very good." Yeah, just he was like,
doesn't really
just like in the back arse of nowhere in County Meath. I just can't imagine they'd be like, "Yeah, let's try that one."
It's getting the right. Do you know what? It's funny you say it, because the same room, and why I took on the comedy club in the Hill where I am, in the same room, the guy who asked me, years and years ago, I hosted. That's why I said that was a nice room. Actually, I hosted a lovely girls competition, an alternative lovely girls, and I mean, the people here are big. Like, I forget, in cities people get small. Like, do you know, people, because you don't need you don't need that much back and
You're not
neck
built on pure Wexford beef.
Do you know what I mean? You don't need all that. Here, men get fucking massive. Like, I mean, even small people are massive here. And it was honestly one of the funniest to see lads who just went, you knew in their heart and soul this was so far beyond anything. They'd never done anything like, but the joy that they had and the crack in it and the silliness and had there been a blueprint, i.e. RuPaul's Drag Race,
yeah,
where you do the slut drop and it's yes queen or all that shit, right? It's lads would. I don't know. I think I would.
I think like for gag clubs and stuff like that, I think they'd absolutely get into that. I think they'd love to get into it, and I think it's if you have a couple of characters in the dressing room, like that'll proper lean into it now. And it's one of those things you need to lean into, and it'd be funny.
Oh, well, now I mean, you could approach one of the long-standing actual charities. You know what I mean? I don't know what St. Vincent de Paul themselves. You know, they might get sued by RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, the
St. Vincent after me.
The crossover episode no one was expecting to be a Catholic Church.
Owl One's clothes bought out of St. Vincent de Paul. It's somewhere in Cork. I love what you're wearing. Is it? Is it human? I don't know.
Thanks, it's vintage.
So what's coming up next? So I say recurring. You have a residency in the Academy, Dan.
Yeah, so I'm it's kind of gone a bit mental for me now recently, thankfully, with the state that Dublin's in with a lot of venues and stuff closing. Thankfully it's gone the other direction for me now. Mondays I'm in Riot Bar on the Quays there. It's a dive bar on a Monday. Every second Tuesday I'm in 37 Dawson Street. Every Wednesday I'm in 37 Dawson Street. Every Thursday I believe I'm starting in a new spot in town that's about to be announced next month. Every Friday I'm in the Academy, and every Saturday I could be anywhere. I could be anywhere from Cashel to Belfast, to be honest. I kind of just float around different venues.
We've missed each other at a few venues. I think the Limelight was the last one. I think we.
The Limelight, yeah, because you were doing the couple of shows in Limelight too, and we had just been up to see Kevin Hart when Kevin Hart was here.
Yeah,
doing the few shows as well. I think you were kind of just in around that time. It was around April time as well when you were doing it, I think. But we've followed. We've seen each other's names on posters when we're in different venues already.
Like, those two guys hate each other. Great, let's put them on. Yeah, brilliant. And the coming at it from it would have been primarily, I suppose, for the longest time, it would have been a male dominated kind of. You know, it really was. But I suppose the door is opening. You know, it's not like you have to do a monstrous amount of blokey lifting. It's not block laying. You know what I mean? So it makes Dan, you know, it makes sense that, but it also makes sense too from, you know, a female point of view. Like, is the music like, you obviously do have different tastes to a degree, like, but is there a feminine touch to it to a really good ear? I wouldn't know what I'm listening to. I just like good tunes. But do you know what I mean? Could you go, or is it just fucking hard as fuck regardless?
Maria started in a new bar, Doll Society, and it's painted pink. Imagine Barbie in a bar.
Section of my brain.
It's like
I was gonna say, Maria, did you actually just open a fucking bar?
I was like, guys, thanks so much for opening this bar for me specifically. Really appreciate it.
But she needed cover there last week, and it's all like Beyonce brunches and Taylor Swift and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Needed cover last week, and I was taking the week off after Longitude. Wanted a bit of time off. And she was sitting on the couch going, I really need someone to cover me on Friday. And I was like, oh, yeah, nightmare. She's like, wish I really had someone who could cover me. And I was like, oh, and she's like, look, will you just fucking do it? So I said, right, grand. I went in, and she texted me going, how are you getting on? And I was like, the only way I can describe this is a straight white man attempting to figure out what women want and doing it really poorly. It was just like a straight man going, women like this, and playing. They kind of look at me like, okay, we might have liked it in 1989, you know, just playing, girls just want to have fun, Cyndi Lauper, you all love that, don't you? But then she goes in and plays mad obscure shit, like fucking stuff off the High School Musical 2 soundtrack, and they'll go mad for it. So she has a better idea, obviously.
There's a great Paris Hilton meme where she's DJing. She's like, I love DJing. I just play music that I like to listen to, and if people happen to like it, I get paid for it. It's great. I'll just play what I like to listen to, and if they happen to like it, that's a bonus. But it's mainly just me trying to listen to music and have a good time.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Natasha will come out with obscure fucking choruses to songs. I'm going, what in sweet sovereign Jesus that? She's like,
every word bar for bar.
Yeah.
I've never heard that song in my life, and it feels like you have the lyrics tattooed on you somewhere. Like it's to that extent.
I had left the laptop open, and stand up tends to come up an awful lot on all my fucking everythings, you know. And Ahmed Dajali, he's the Iranian English. It's fucking amazing, and he has a bit And it is definitely a bit where it would seem that people have left him a note at the door, and it gets handed up to him at the end of the show, and he reads them out. Nobody's doing that. It's absolutely a fucking bit like these are. But he does this bit about where he picks it up, and he had sang Blue on a TV, something by Blue, One Love, and he not Blue, which by the way, I have a brief story to tell you where sometimes music does not translate back and forth between genres, but he picked it up and he did this unbelievable, like how he kept on saying, I fucking hate Blue. And he just burst, incredible singer, burst into a Blue song. And I look up and I'm just playing with, I look up and Natasha has every fucking word, and she's off. She's gone every word on Blue. I'm like, the obscurity of knowing every, but oh, by the way, this is perfect for you and Maria, because you love you're properly weird. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, she is like.
Short all day.
When again, like yourself, Dan, I worked in the bar in college and stuff like that down in Limerick. But it was sometimes I used to get a great gig working in there, not in the bar. It'd be setting out chairs and tables and stuff like that in the function rooms. I was like, this is great. I just fuck off. And our house was straight across the way, so I'd ring the lads to come over, and I had a deal worked. If I finish these rooms, can I get paid for 6 hours? They're going, yeah, but it's going to take you 6 or 7 hours. Yeah, okay. I'm just saying that if I get them all done, can I? And I'd open the door, let in 6 lads, put them all out. But there's one particular night, and how things can sometimes go wrong. So you're a safe bet for anything, because you can play what's in front of you, right? They had booked for this girl's 21st a band. And the band were a middle to late aged couple, and one was on the guitar and one was on the piano. Fine singers, the two of them. But what they tried to do, rather than just hitting the fucking classics, just do Elton John, do stuff you know. They tried to vocalize what was most definitely dance tunes of the 90s. And it was some of the greatest moments of my life to watch 50, 20 to 21-year-olds crying because it was so bad. And Blue was the one where the girl had her father go up and just pull the plug, and that's it. And I'm watching from the back with all my housemates going, this might be the greatest moment of our lives. And this guy up there going, no, everybody knows this one.
Car crash television, like.
And they went hard. They didn't go, I don't know, they into this. I mean, they did it like they were playing to fucking Slain. Like, he was going,
they committed, yeah.
But I mean,
I respect the commitment to the cause.
Oh, he was. I'm
People
Blue.
smell bullshit, Tom. They smell bullshit. So
it was. But he went all the way through. Now imagine this on an acoustic guitar and a keyboard. Blue. Dabba-dee, da. Come on. Blue. It makes my toes curl still to this day. But it was still one of the greatest musical moments I've ever seen in my entire life.
You're going scat alongside it as well.
Like, there's no Spotify will save this scenario. Like, nothing is going to get him out of this hole. Like, so you have a residency. Is it Doll's House? You have a residency.
Sorry. There's a fox going 90 outside.
Is there?
As we said, yeah.
Actually, better close.
The fox is screaming out in the street, and we muted the microphone straight away. Oh, fuck, he's gonna go mental.
So there's nobody has to wonder what the fox says. Basically, there it is. It's being a bastard outside the fucking door.
You know what he says back to the fox anyway? It's a fucking nightmare. I don't know where it is, but it's screeching fairly loud from outside that window. As we had to mute the microphone there as you were telling that story, we were like shouting at the dog, "Shut the fuck!"
Yeah, only that I've soundproofed this pretty well. I built this bloody thing and I soundproofed it pretty well. But if I crack open that door, there's a farmer has put a load of sheep into the field next door, and it's horrendous. It's absolutely horrific. But you have residency. Is it Doll's House? It's called. Where is it?
Doll Society in Francis Street.
Okay.
Gorgeous, big fan. I'm in loads of different spots. I'm in there a good bit now because it's only after opening. So I'm kind of setting up everything and establishing our music policy and everything.
Lovely.
Basically, whatever is in my brain at the time, whatever obscure Miley Cyrus or High School Musical song I think of, it gets played.
The hoedown, throwdown, baby.
I've led a large group of gals in the hoedown, throwdown, and it was quite fulfilling. It was great. So I'm there. I'm in loads of different spots. Like I'm in Riot. I do 37 Dolphin Street. I do a few other spots. I do loads of kind of events and stuff. Because I've been flat out all week.
Beautiful.
As you were saying, it is a male dominated industry and it always has been, and the door is kind of slightly opening now. But now I suppose one thing I'm lucky to be able to have a front row seat to Maria just kicking the absolute shit off that door. That door is getting kicked completely clean off the fucking hinges with this one. It's not even, she's at it full time a year now. The growth that she's had has been incredible.
It's great that you can add, like literally you can feed yourself, so you're doing something right. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a roof over the head, and we
have 2 dogs to feed.
Yes, a couple of hours to feed there. But it's great to see like that. Even stuff as simple as like you look at some corporate shit.
Yeah,
and like for years, makeup brands would do a store launch, and it's just some ugly mug from fucking in the corner.
Makes no sense to have some fucking hairy bloke in the corner.
And now you get someone with like a personality that pops at you straight away.
Although in saying that,
to the brand and straight in, and
in saying that now, we cannot. If you want to identify as whatever you want to identify and still have your beard and put some makeup on, you're still allowed, okay? Because things can swing back pretty quickly too. But you're right. What the fuck would you be doing putting the likes of... Imagine a head like me. Well, how are the girls from Mac? Are you enjoying yourselves? Right. Here, you might enjoy this one now coming up next from... This is Stop the World and Let Me Off by Declan Nerney. Here we go.
Don't you back Declan Nerney now.
That man hugged me.
I heard that on the Fred Cook podcast now. I heard that.
I know, it's just the first one that came to mind. It was still to this day, I will take that to my... I mean, there were some great days in my life, marriage, having a kid, but getting hugged by Declan Nerney at the Tree Arena, like that was...
Strong forearms, I believe. That's what
strong. He grabbed my ass. Like, so it was like there was too much going on, but by a lot of people's standards, not mine. I was okay.
I've had a couple of brushes with country music stars. Nathan Carter smells amazing.
You can see that. You can see that.
Smells ...
Smells.
No, smells immaculate. Incredible. Truly breathtaking.
But you know what? You can't typically transcend, television or whatnot, but dimensionally, I can actually see his smell is stunning.
I could imagine. Yeah.
He spares no expense on his fragrance.
But I'd imagine he'd never, go into a darkened room, just put on his headphones and turn Pantera up to the fucking last. You know what I mean? In his underpants at the same time. I like to think that there's a potential of that between the kind of people I like you two. I could see that happening at any point. Like we're just going, I need Sepultura or something just to blow my fucking brains out for the next.
It is funny, and we talk about it all the time in like the industry that we're in, and obviously the industry that you're in is much the same, where you come across these people who are considered celebrities and they're massive public figures and stuff like that, and it's just so mental to me to see them sometimes, like say backstage somewhere, and they're just doing really just regular human shit, and you're like,
yeah,
fuck, he does that too. That's weird.
Yeah, it's like the teacher in the supermarket again, like
exactly.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like it pulls back the curtain. You're going, oh, Stormzy loves a cup of tea. Like mental.
Stormzy in a teacup.
God damn it! If you didn't do it, I was going to pause this, text you, and go fucking do it.
See, I can't. It has to.
No. I'm so glad you did, but it was that one of them. It was like, do it. Even if he was saying Storm, I said, you better be fucking ready for this next bit. You better be ready for next bit.
Put me in, coach.
ready.
But yeah, it's just like when you're in that industry, it's just mad seeing like the curtain pull back on some of the mad stuff. Like
it's it is, but also then you, in a moment like that where, say like with the two Johnnies, like it's insane to see the level of still normal, van driving blokes, like. And you can still put him in a 10,000 seater. And it's like, well, and it transcends. And I think people, like the day of, not putting Beyonce down, right? But the day of, she either needs to do, no, I know, hold your pigtails.
I know, sorry, I'm ready.
She either needs to do what she's doing, if you get me, like on a mega scale, million dancers, fucking super. And going, I think I'm looking at, this is actually, I think I might be looking into inside the mind of a fucking something crazy, because this looks so incredible. Like, but it's no good for Beyonce to come all out in herself. Like, I'm still, like Adele for me, I'm like, she's doing just the right thing. She comes out, she goes, it's a can. Oh, yeah, fucking, me fingers smell like firelights. You know, he was been up in Nane's house, and then sings unbelievable. But for me, Nathan Carter, God bless him, but I can't buy, not to do country music, but you better be doing something fucking unbelievable, or you better be come across really normal. One or the other.
Yeah,
exactly.
Don't be giving me this middle space of being this amazing fucking, I'm a super celebrity, but you're fucking not.
You can put the two Johnnies in the 3 arena, 13,000 people, but then you'll see them playing Junior B next week.
Yeah, literally.
And that's what it's like, you know. And actually, a friend of ours actually got engaged at the two Johnnies in a field. The thing that they did down in Musgrave Park in Cork, the kind of festival thing that the two Johnnies did. Our mate DJ Flip was on the lineup, and he proposed to his girlfriend on stage at the two Johnnies gig in front of whatever many people was in.
Shit! I wish I did this episode because I was on there. I filled in for Smacks yesterday.
No way.
Yeah. But as you say, that somebody, Neil, Neil to be out kind of producing as well outside, and he's mentioned about somebody else getting engaged at a different gig again.
Yeah.
But like the lads would nearly hold the mass for you as well. Like, you know, but
there's something about Irish celebrities though. Like I think I'm fairly cool and chill with, like, we've met some pretty decent celebrities before, and I've been really grand with them, you know, chat away to anyone, you know me. But like where were we? We were at Meal
Flower on Paddy's Day, the food festival that they did down at the Gold Flower Markets in Smithfield. And she walked past Anne Doyle.
No, Doyle.
Maria literally grabbed my arm with like fucking superhuman strength. I was like, it's Anne Doyle, in front of Anne Doyle, and Anne Doyle heard her and looked at me and went, oh fuck. And like kind of freaked Anne Doyle out a little bit. But then she's been around megastars at all these festivals and stuff like that. Huge artists and musicians, and then has just been totally fucking normal with them. But Anne Doyle was the one that got the heart racing.
I'll tell you now, I absolutely get it. I get it because there's a nostalgia in it, right? And two times I've ever been, well, one absolutely awestruck was Micheál Murhertig down in Dingle. Yeah,
I served him. I served him in a hotel I worked in before, and like that, just jaw on the floor.
Because like legendary status struck years ago, you know what I mean? Like, and but also cool as cute, like walking around shaking everybody's hand like he's Santi, and it's like, oh my. And then one other time was, and I ended up, I was actually friends with the chap before I realized who his dad was, and he was producing for. He was actually, I think he was stood in as head of TG Carr, and Richie Conroy is his name, and we're chatting away, and next thing he says, it was like we were talking about contract. Would you believe it, working as contractors or direct for RTE at the time? Like, because he was, oh God, no, my dad always told me that. I was like, oh, did your dad work for RTE? Oh, well, he says he contracted back in the day. You know, you would have seen him probably at some stage. And I'm thinking, how could it be? He said, Don Conroy. I'm like,
oh,
brilliant.
Shut the front door. Your dad is Don Conroy. I said, I've known you 6 months and you never once brought it up. He went, well, I've called him Don before. I went, yeah, but there's loads of Dons. You can't just.
You were a super like Godfather fan. I don't know.
So that owl over there, he goes, oh, that's a Don. That's a Don. Yeah. I was like, oh.
I think my like I have a notion of myself that I think that I could sit and have cocktails with Beyonce. And I think I actually could do it. But if you put me in a room with Daniel O'Donnell ever, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I
imagine Maria's like your one at the door. Oh no! Oh Jesus!
Oh,
he's here. Oh God, he's lovely. Oh, he's lovely.
At the door. I'm quite the thing. I don't know what it is. I again connected to Halloween. Have you seen my Daniel O'Donnell pumpkin? I once carved his face onto a pumpkin. But I got myself a treat. I like to buy myself gifts when I'm drunk for myself in the future, and this one came from China, shockingly, but it took about a month to arrive. Just for the listeners, this is a full-sized fleece blanket with Daniel O'Donnell's face.
And really well printed in. Like, this is
beautiful, and quite a soft blanket. Really good quality.
I love the fact that someone in China printed that, gone, I have no. Maybe this is.
It was ready made, like it wasn't a custom print or anything. It was available to buy.
They had them
direct.
in stock. They had them in stock, like. But of course, obviously, after buying one for herself, she then decided, you know what, I'm going to buy one for Mom and not say anything, and not say it's from me. I'll just buy it, get it sent there, and say nothing.
Tremendous.
And as soon as it landed, the mother rang straight away. What the fuck did you buy that for?
Yeah.
She just knew straight away that was Maria.
Yeah. No, I get it. I absolutely fucking get it. Listen, Eve, Jesus Christ, I could talk to you all night.
I know, I'm sorry, we burned the air.
No, not at all. Jesus.
Some job trying to edit this down now.
No, there'll be no edit. If you would dry out shites, I'd have to do something about it. But in fairness, it's been continuously good crack, guys. Really, really delighted. Anyway, back to you in this. God, I have to find.
Catch up with you. It's been so long since we've seen you. It's been great.
This is the thing. We're actually friends, and people are just listening in. This is not an interview at all. It's just people listening in, like, you know. So that's the kind of beauty of it. And when it rolls an hour, it rolls 2 hours. So don't fucking matter.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're nearly rolling 3 now at this stage, I think.
I know. Tis not to worry. There was worse things happened at sea. Listen, what? Surely you have festivals coming up between. Have you EP? Are you playing EP?
Maria's confirmed. I'm currently negotiating.
Hi, you need an R&B fucking hip hop. That's the guy. He's literally the guy.
Thankfully now we're in the right circles with the right people that appreciate our work. So it's more just a matter of fingers crossed, touch wood. I don't want to fucking jinx it. It's more a matter of when and not if. So
I hear.
I'll be at Electric Picnic on the Friday at the Coca-Cola stage from midnight to 2 a.m. So it'll be just when all the main acts, the main stage and stuff closes. And you know, when people are wandering looking for something to do, so pop by and see me at the Coca-Cola stage.
She'd be the one dressed as possibly a hybrid between a tractor and a plant. But there'll be a hidden meaning somewhere in it.
Have you not seen? Every time I DJ for Coca-Cola, I have an item of Coca-Cola brand clothing that I found on eBay or something. I have earrings. Oh, I know. Mom's saying extra again. I had like Coca-Cola bottle earrings. I have a jacket. My favorite one was I had this Diamante encrusted bag that looked like a can of Diet Coke. But it was all Diamantes all over.
I saw your pictures and I was fully sure. I was like, wow, they have kitted her out. This is
all me.
Wow. See, that's a company woman. That's a company.
First name basis with our DPD, Fastway, all those delivery drivers. First name basis, all the boys. We buy them Christmas presents now.
So is there websites or what is as well to just put your Instagrams, because you're very active?
We're
Instagram's the best place. Yeah, she's at Maria Lolza, MARIALOLZA.
I read it. Do you know what I still read? You know when you read things and you read it again, you go, I've enjoyed fucking reading it differently the first time. Do you ever get that? You're like, I'm going to still. I read Maria Palooza.
I like that.
That's the festival name that's coming up next year.
Yes,
I'm sure down the line I went, oh, that's not what it says. No, I prefer.
I prefer it that way.
I prefer getting around.
One of my friends, she was like, did you see that meme on her Dodie? I was like, her Dodie. I was like, what? Say it again. Her Dodie. I was like, her.ie.
Because they have it written as DOT.
Yeah, but at the same time, like.
But now
that's kind of adorable. That's like something Nana would say.
We just call it her Doty. If we're do you see that thing on her Doty?
I get it.
But yeah, she's at Maria Lolza. I'm at Duffy the First.
Grant. I will put actual links below in the show notes. Four beautiful people between the dogs and yourselves and the foxes outside.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Apologies to anyone that was listening with headphones or in the car and was feeling a little bit, lethargic going to work this morning. You heard Jenny just go in the middle of it. He'll definitely wake you up. So apologies very much for that one.
Well, thanks so much for having us. It was great to catch up.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, gang.